Hey, today on Pawpaw's Garage, a 96 Toyota T100 that presents with the P0420 catalyst below threshold trouble code. Now, we can throw parts at it or we can find out what's wrong. Let's find out what's wrong. Now, there's a couple of things that can cause that trouble code. It's either going to be the catalytic converter is bad, you've got a short in the wiring somewhere, or the O2 sensor itself is bad. Now, I tested the catalytic converter while it was already up to temperature, and the inlet and the outlet is not that big a difference. Of course, it was at idle, so that's to be expected. So, we're going to pull out the upstream and downstream O2 sensors, put them on the bench, and check their voltages. I'll show you how we do that in just a few minutes. All right, here we are under the truck. Now, this is not the typical O2 sensor we're used to with the screw-in bung. These are going to be 12 millimeter nuts, and we'll get those popped off and get the O2 unplugged from up inside the engine bay there and get it over on the bench and do some testing. So what we're going to do is test the voltage on the O2 sensor. To do that, all we need is a cheap torch, a bargain bin digital multimeter, and something to hold the O2 sensor with. Now, if you look inside, this one has the pins. It doesn't have the holes that you can just slide the probes down in. So here's a simple little life hack for you. Slide on a couple of male butt connectors, push them down in place, and they'll serve as alligator clips. Now, we have to find out which two wires run the voltage, which two wires run the ohms. So, from experience, the two same color wires that I've run across are the ones you test your ohms on. So here we have two black wires, a blue wire, and a white wire. So I've already tested as well, and I know that my two black wires have my ohms resistance on them. So I want to test the white wire and the blue wire for voltage. Give me a second, we'll get it hooked up and test. So you want to set your multimeter on its lowest full volt setting, not millivolts. So my lowest full volt setting is 20. We're going to set it there. Now, when we put the heat on the O2 sensor, let me get you over here. We put the heat on the O2 sensor. What we're looking is for it to gain voltage up to 0.9. and maybe just a little over 0.9 depending on the calibration in your multimeter. And this is like a bargain bin $5 deal, so it's not going to be super accurate, but it'll get the job done. When we take the heat away, we want this to drop to almost zero near immediately. Okay, now lots of times these O2 sensors just get built up with carbon, and the exhaust temperatures aren't hot enough to burn the carbon out. So by doing this test, we actually may be able to burn the carbon out, and the O2 sensor goes to working again. Let's give it a shot. All right, As you can tell, mine already shows 0.02, where it's fluctuating around a little bit, but I'm not putting any heat on it yet. So let's get some heat on it and see if it starts to move. There she goes, she's climbing. It's getting good and cherry red now. Still climbing, we're at 7.8. There we go, 0.92, but mine's already 0.2 off, so 0.9. So, and it took a little bit to get up there, so we might have burned some of that carbon out. Well, now when I take the heat away, we want it to drop almost immediately. Boom, there she goes. So this O2 sensor is working, so we may have just burnt some of the carbon out that was throwing the code. So we'll go to the other side, heat it up as well, be sure we got it clean all the way around. Almost immediately it goes to 0.96 volts. Take the heat away, immediately it's at 0. That's what we're looking for. Immediately back at 9, immediately back at 0. Back at 9, back at 0. So we've burnt this carbon out. Hopefully now this O2 sensor will go to working again. That'll get rid of the code. If it doesn't, then we've either got a bad cat, or maybe the O2 sensor, the downstream is bad. But I think this is the one that's going to do the dirty work. Again, 0 fast, 9 right now. That's a huge difference from what it was when we started. It took forever to get to 9. All right. Let's let it cool down for just a couple of minutes, get it back on the truck, clear the code, see if it comes back. Well, it seemed to be a success. So we cleared the codes out, fired the vehicle back up, ran the short-term fuel trims on it, and before, when I checked the fuel trims on this, it was plus or minus 10. And to be in spec, plus or minus 5 is where you want to be. 10 points one way, sorry, not one way or the other, but 10 points total. -5, +5, somewhere in that area is about where you want to be. So, like I say, it was plus or minus 10. Now we are somewhere around plus or minus 5, which is perfect for where we need to be on this vehicle. So, save the customer some money. It don't always happen that way, but it's nice when it does. So, I guess that's it for this video. Hey, comment, like, subscribe for me, please. Hit the bell. You'll know when I post a new video. Anything can happen here at Pawpaw's Garage. We'll see you later.